Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. I'm Eric Vidal, editor of Converge. So as people are logging in, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of house cleaning items here. One thing is we do have a virtual event coming up soon that is brought to you by Cisco and Converge, so make sure that you check that out and register. You can see the link in the chat box. Also, today, during the webinar and even after the webinar, there's a way for you to continue the conversation with some of our experts here today, and that's through the hashtag on Twitter. That's digital transformation. So hashtag digital transformation. Make sure that you follow that either during the webinar and or after. So we want to make this a very interactive session. We have some product experts from SAP. We have some industry experts from SAP and from Concealing Consulting on today. So please leverage the Q&A component to ask questions. And if your question doesn't get asked during the session, we'll definitely get to it at the end. So make sure this is a very interactive session. So first of all, I want to introduce our speakers. We have two gentlemen from Concealing Consulting. We have George Solis, who is the Senior Marketing Manager, and Juan Muzio, the President of Concealing Consulting. And to kick off our session, we have Brian Cano from SAP who's going to manage this and moderate this presentation. So Brian, please, welcome.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for attending. My name is Brian Cano. I've been with SAP for 6+ years. 4 years I've been in the cloud ERP space, and today we're talking about SAP Business by Design, which is my focus. It's our mid-market SaaS ERP. And I'd also like to thank Concealium. They're an excellent partner. They have great status with us and a track record of on-time, on-budget implementations. They have a great customer role across multiple industries. And so just a little bit about the product. It was put out in the market in 2007. Initially, it was for SAP's largest customers and for them to deploy SAP Business by Design for their large subsidiaries. Today, although it's positioned in our mid-market space, we have customers with a handful of users. We have customers with thousands and thousands. So really, it plays in all market segments, and the return on investment, because of how quickly we can deploy it, is seen in months. So we'll work with partners like Concealium, as the software is hosted in an SAP data center and supported by our data center ops. We rely on Concealium and consultants similar to configure the front end to really show the interface the way you guys want to see it and get industry specific. So with that, I will turn it back over to Juan.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. And we do value very much our partnership with SAP and the support you and your team have given us thus far. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on hopefully educational morning. We'll be running a poll at the end, and also we would appreciate, as Brian mentioned, to make this a very interactive session. There will be an opportunity for every one of you to send us questions, and we'll be able to answer them hopefully online. I'm Juan Muzio, President of Concealing Consulting. We are SAP consulting firm founded back in 2008, although some of our members have been in this business for way longer than that. Concealing is a certified SAP Business by Design partner, or VAR, Value Added Reseller, as SAP named its partners since last year. We resell the software solution and also provide comprehensive services around the platform Business by Design and S/4HANA. We do have our headquarters in Weston, here in South Florida, and we also do have offices in Latin America. We have over 150 consultants averaging over 10 years of SAP experience. We say that our approach to the business is personal and direct because the principals involve ourselves with every one of you, our community of users. All of our clients know us personally, most of them at least. All of them have met us in person and even seen our faces and have access to our cell phones. We do not ask them to go through a chain of commands, so-called. If they feel they can reach us directly, they can. Our approach is also honest and candid. That's because that's the way we are. We prefer not to have a project assigned if we're not 100% sure that we can deliver what our clients expect from us. So Concilium is a service provider for few lines of SAP solutions. Business by Design as one of them, where we do provide full service implementation services along with being value-added resellers, as I explained earlier. By Design or Business by Design is a solution mainly focused on small and medium businesses, companies that need a business software but do not want to invest a large amount of money in infrastructure or a large IT backbone, as it says in here. It has a SaaS, software as a service, on-demand deployment, which includes a monthly subscription instead of acquiring the licenses as the traditional model proposes. It uses a best practices approach, which means, as Brian mentioned before, you may go live in a very short period of time, in some cases less than 8 weeks, depending on the scope of your needs. ByDesign provides general business functionality based on best practices, although it's fully customizable. In other words, you can adapt your processes to SAP proven best practices, or you can use the best practices as a base and then adapt some of them to your own processes. The solution is available in several countries, including the ones listed in there. Concilium also is a service provider for the more traditional line of SAP solutions, all-in-one, or as it is called in these days, S/4HANA, which is a comprehensive integrated industry solution designed to power your business end-to-end. It's primarily focused on medium to large corporations and with more standard on-premises deployment implementation approach and the traditional licensing model, where you can actually buy the software and not rent as you do in ByDesign. It takes a bit longer to implement the traditional SAP solution, anywhere from 8 to 16 weeks or more, depending on the scope of work. It has over 600 industry-specific solutions as it's available all around the world. Today we'll be focusing on Business by Design, and for that I will now hand over the presentation to George Schultz, our Senior Marketing Manager. Okay.
Thank you very much, Juan. Thank you, Brian, and good morning to everyone. And thank you. We understand the schedules are tight, so we really appreciate your attendance to this webinar. My name is George Schultz. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager and Pre-Sales Executive for Concilium. And as mentioned by Juan and Brian, today we're presenting SAP Business by Design, which is the cloud ERP from SAP. Now, I want to start by mentioning that ByDesign naturally covers a wide range of markets. It benefits, of course, from the cloud model, and it allows our customers to grow at their own pace, and more importantly, at the right time. That is the main reason we want to bring the system to the table today, because we want to understand your business needs and how, by working with ByDesign, we can alleviate those pains and cover those specific requirements. And that is our main goal as a consulting firm, to understand our customers, in other words, to understand you. So giving you a little bit of background and to complement Brian, ByDesign is a solution that has been out in the market for about 10 years now. The evolution of the solution has been quite successful since it has followed the exponential growth of the cloud model over the past decade. And it has, of course, grown and scaled exponentially as well. ByDesign was originally released to cover the small and medium businesses market. However, naturally, ByDesign adapts quite well to subsidiaries or branches for medium and large corporations. Now, in this slide over here, and just to give you some hard numbers and not to bore you with details, of course, 100% of customers are SMEs. And that is a huge, huge number right there. So you can imagine how adaptable the solution is. Over 3,700 companies as of today are currently running with ByDesign. And of course, this is worldwide. Over 75,000 users as of today work, collaborate, and run with the platform. The system out of the box is localized for 19 countries, the US included, of course, and we can localize the system if necessary to additional countries in case you have operations outside of the US. ByDesign currently has 20 focused industries. You can see them on the slide. However, we can mention discrete manufacturing, wholesale and distribution, professional services, and construction, just to name a few. But this doesn't restrict us from working with the platform in a wide range of line of businesses and is stretching the system to its limits. So by mentioning this, I can tell you that the system is scalable, the system is flexible, and the system is adaptable. ByDesign is a multi-company, multi-language, multi-currency, multi-accounting, and multi-country platform. And of course, it also goes without saying that since the platform is 100% localized for the US, all fiscal and tax requirements are and will be, if necessary, 100% local. So going forward, this is the SAP Business ByDesign overview. And to explain it briefly, the system runs with SAP HANA. Some of you might have heard of it. Which is our state-of-the-art in-memory platform. HANA runs and compiles information 10,000 times faster than a traditional SQL server or an Oracle database. HANA is so powerful that it compresses files by a factor of 5. For example, if you have a 1 terabyte database, HANA will compress the database and bring it down to 200 gig. So this is an example just to give you an idea of how powerful HANA is and how your business can benefit. Right? That will be the gray stripe at the very bottom of the rainbow. Now, going up a layer, you can see the main work centers for ByDesign. Starting from left to right, financial management. Everything from accounts payable, accounts receivable, the general ledger, just to name a few examples. Going all the way to human resources, employee profiling, times, vacations, sick days, so on and so forth. Project management, very similar to MS Project, Microsoft Project. If you've worked with it, it's very similar, but it's already integrated into the system. You can measure your project by staff, by resources, manage times, incidents, etc. We also have a supplier's relationship management work center. More than being just a regular purchasing work center, right here, by using metrics and detailed analytics, you can measure who is your best supplier or vendor, because maybe not the one that sells you at the best price, best option, or the one that delivers at the right time. And of course, you can handle everything that purchase additional module will be able to do for you. We also have the supply chain management, everything from production, warehousing, inventories, quality assurance. Everything is included, very, very robust, and simple, discrete, and complex manufacturing process. Finally, we have our CRM, our customer relationship management works, the Salesforce, where you can deliver campaigns through our marketing module. As well, you can measure your competitors, sales orders, so you can maybe have your salesmen on the road and they can interactively check stock. That's what the CRM is there for. And finally, the extended solutions, where we can develop specific requirements based on your company needs. So this is in general a brief overview of the work center. Of course, there are a lot of other capabilities. You can see it on the right part of the screen. and then we'll go a little bit in detail in a few minutes when we jump into the demo of the system. Now, moving up a layer one more time, we have the analytic portion of the system, the business intelligence. Business by Design comes out of the box with more than 420 standard reports, those which are spread across all the work centers. And it comes as well with 24 of KPIs. Like I said, this is just out of the box. And we continue to improve along with SAP. We continue to add more reports, more capabilities to the product. And finally, the system comes as well with mobility included. ByDesign is 100% compatible with iOS, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows devices, if any of you use those. So if you're hitting the road or maybe waiting for your flight at an airport, you can run directly to the platform and you can work from your mobile device, call it a cell phone, an iPad, or any other tablet. Now, moving on right here, this is thing I just want you to see at first glance how ByDesign works when it comes to payments. This is very, very important, and how it differentiates itself from the traditional model. So, being a software as a service, with ByDesign, purchasing licenses is no longer required. Instead, ByDesign adopts a monthly subscription model. Put it this way, total amount of users equals total amount of subscriptions. Also, considering that ByDesign is 100% out software maintenance and migrations to new versions, which we have 4 new updates every year, are included within your monthly subscription. Speaking of hardware, infrastructure, or IT staff are no longer required. SAP takes care of that as well without no additional charge. So to summarize, ByDesign is a 100% cloud solution with robust work centers that go from finance to the sales force, with mobility included for all devices in the market, with robust analytic capabilities, because it includes the business intelligence out of the box, and with the possibility of adding custom downloadable applications to robust the system even further, or by creating extended solutions to it. And finally, all this is empowered by SAP HANA, our in-memory platform. So this is in general the overview for ByDesign. So at this point, we can jump into the system and give you a quick tour so you can see for yourself the features covered, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you. So this is the SAP Business ByDesign login screen. And as in all cloud services, the elements required are a browser. In this case, I'm using Firefox, and the necessary credentials to log into the system, name it username or user ID, password. You can see at the top of the address bar in my URL or the ByDesign URL, and you can see I'm highlighting it right now. You can see that it contains a sequence of numbers. This is the customer number. This number is personalized per customer, and it's non-transferable. So this number ensures that no one but you will have access to your platform. Not us as Concilium, not even SAP. Also, you can see right off the bat that the system gives us the opportunity to select about 10 different languages. So if you have, let's say, operations in Latin America or in Asia, your people in those countries can select Spanish, Chinese, maybe Portuguese if they're in Brazil, for example. So the configuration for the system will be exactly the same but in a different language. So it's easier to collaborate with people from all over the world. Now, I will be logging into the system with a administrator user or profile, and this means that I will have full access to the platform. check just real quick. There we go. So the system is loading. Something I want to let you know that this is a test tenant. So since this tenant is intended for demo purposes, it runs at half speed. In other words, if you give it the opportunity to work with you, your live system will process and work twice as fast. So I'm already logged into the system. This is the main ByDesign dashboard. And you will notice at the top the different modules, or as I was mentioning before, work centers. Like I said, I'm logged in with an administrator account, full access to the system. So you can access them at the very top. You can also check them right here on the right, or you can check them at the bottom. It depends pretty much on your preference. Just a quick comment before we proceed. If we pay close attention to the way the system is structured, you will notice that the look and feel of the product is very similar to Microsoft Office. The use of tabs, drop-down menus in this case, and navigation in general is almost identical. So this allows the user to overcome the learning curve easily. Based on this, you can see that the system is intuitive and user-friendly because it adopts a model that is familiar to us. So our goal by doing this is to get you up and running as soon as possible. That's the whole point. Now, going back to the dashboard, with every single user, the dashboard will change, of course, depending on the user's role. It will not be the same for, let's say, a purchasing agent versus an accounting assistant. In the main dashboard, we can find daily activities, tasks, and alerts, or maybe new incidents. Also, users can link news feedbacks, as you can see right here at the bottom, to be well informed on maybe market or currency changes, for example. The dashboard is configurable in regards of reporting as well, so any specific report or KPI that you may need can be added to it. The system also comes out of the box with a learning center where every user can navigate and either browse the library to further understand how the system works, or to find specific training based on specific roles. PDFs and videos are available within the work centers. So you can pretty much learn the entire platform by yourself using the help center right here on the right side corner. Now, if we go back to the work centers, I'm going to go ahead and hover over the mouse over any of them. Let's see. Let's pick the general ledger. You can see that a menu drops down and it displays specific activities. And also every work center comes with a report section. You can see right here at the bottom. This is the BI included within the system. As I mentioned before, more than 420 standard reports come natively with the system. And those are spread out within all the work centers that you see at the top. In this case, I will keep on using the general ledger. I want to show you the way the BI work within ByDesign. And I will just go ahead and click in list in this case, so we can start our tour throughout the system. So you can see that this is simple, just as clicking. The system is loading. And you can see here that we have an extremely robust selection of reports to choose from. Of course, as in all SAP solutions, everything regarding the back office is extremely robust. And ByDesign is an exception. I will go ahead and select one of the reports. Maybe I can use the financial statement just to show you an example. So at this point, we'll just let it load. And working with the reports is as easy as filling information, as you can see. If you're familiar with Excel, this report structure is very similar to a pivot table. So let me go ahead and start filling out information. Like I said, the company is multi-platform and multi-company, of course. So I will go ahead and select 2 companies so you can see what consolidation looks like within ByDesign. I will just pick a fiscal year. I'm going to pick maybe 2012 to make sure we have information on this test tenant. And I will just run the report. Perfect. Close this so you can have a better look at the report. So here's my report. And as you can see right off the bat, I have information. I can do a drill down within the report, going from the general details of the report to very detailed information. So we'll go ahead and start opening or clicking these arrows. And also, the report is, if I don't have enough information on the present screen, I can further complement the report by adding criteria to it. So for example, if you see right here on the left-hand side, maybe I want to add the company. I will move to columns. Just by clicking on it, the system will already show me which companies have what transaction and what information. And this, of course, like I said, is just to further reinforce what I was previously mentioning. The system is multi-company. So basic intercompany consolidation is easily displayed and obtained within the system. And like I said, the structure for the system is homogeneous. It's pretty much the same. So for any other report, say if you want to see something in marketing, or sales, purchasing, it's the same structure. Filling up the information and running the report. And of course, you can add up any extra information you may think it's required. Now, following the same line, I want to show you some of the KPIs available. Like I said, ByDesign comes with 2 dozen of KPIs. Just navigate myself to where the KPIs are located. Of course, it will be in the Business Analytics Work Center. Now, right here, I have about 6 or 7 KPIs, just because these ones are the one activated for the demo tenant. But of course, I can just activate or deactivate KPIs based on my requirements. In this case, I will just select one of them, and I want to show you a preview of it. And like I said, you can actually link the KPI to the main dashboard in case you want to see daily reports based on your key performance indicators. So this is the way it looks. Of course, we have very limited information within the test tenant. You will see a very, very robust KPI report within your live systems. Let me just go ahead and close this now. So now I want to do an exercise. In this case, I want to navigate myself now to the purchasing work center. See purchase orders and requests. Here it is. I just want to click on purchase orders. Now, it also, if this is a work center, maybe I'm a purchasing agent. This is the work center that, of course, is my bread and butter for daily activities. I can easily create a shortcut. It will bring you to the left-hand side. I can just go ahead and purchase orders. Perfect. So this is the purchase orders screen. I will just go ahead and select the purchase order selection that we have. Execute query. So you can see this is my main purchase order list. Now I can easily check the purchase order status, dates, suppliers, even the value. And I can, of course, click on any purchase order to get general information. If I just click on it and I just scroll down right here, you will see general information on this specific PO. The same goes for sales orders, for production orders. Like I said, both kinds of homogeneous for each one. Now, maybe I want to see more detailed information about this PO, so I can easily click on the purchase order ID just to get a full view of the entire operation. Perfect. So as you can see over here, we have a full view of this specific purchase order. And even further, if I want to get even more detailed information, I just click on the View All button right here on the right-hand side corner. So once I'm on this view, we can get full information on this one, such as buyer, where ordering to, let's say maybe what items we are acquiring from this order. In this case, I'm purchasing a regulation unit. If there are any approvals, if maybe this PO needs to go through certain filters, maybe through my manager, maybe the president of the company, we can also customize that for you. In this case, PO. We can also check and verify the entire workflow of the operation. For in this case, purchase order, supplier's invoice. Right here, you might notice two things. One is this blue border on the PO right here. That means that I'm currently at that step of the workflow. And two, the icons at the bottom right here, this anchor and the folder. The anchor basically means that there are additional steps for that specific process. Let's see if there's something here. Perfect. So you can see the entire process for this workflow just by clicking on that anchor. So we have the purchase order. Once it comes out, maybe and it's approved, I get a supplier invoice. Once I receive the invoice, maybe it has been approved by accounting. We send out a check. And once the check has been cashed, how it, of course, affects our banks. So you can see this is only for PO. I mean, this is only entering from one specific purchase order. And I can as well enter it by once you supplier invoice. I can just click on supplier invoice number, and I can see detailed information. You may have noticed one more time, the structure of the screen is pretty much exactly the same. Want to see further information? Of course, view all. Just lay low for a sec. Perfect. And then I have full information on the invoice, who's the supplier, what the general information, what are the payments in terms and conditions. So you can go from the specific, from the general, to very detailed information. We'll just go back to the workflow. Perfect. So that was the anchor. And of course, if I keep on clicking on these, I will get intermediate steps or further steps of the process. And I can see very detailed information. Now, the second icon is the folder, this little folder right here. And this is, at this point, is what journal entry was automatically calculated based on this operation. So if I click on it, on the supplier invoice, if I scroll down, you can see right here what are my journal entries that are affected. Purchases in transit against accounts payable domestic. So of course I can check the entire journal entry for the entire process. To further expand on this, the system automatically calculates journal entries for you, taxes, and matches all balances at the end of each cycle. So you can see how powerful the system is and how it, of course, how it can help our efficient on daily operations. Also, at the end of each month, which just closes. So, as you can see with this quick tour, of course, we don't want to spend a lot of time into it. It will take several sessions, several hours. ByDesign is a very robust solution that scale and grow and adapt as time goes by. Of course, like I said, covering platforms. This will take quite some time and several sessions, but we didn't want to let pass the opportunity to show at first and feel the product. I will keep myself logged into the system in case you very general for now. And of course, if you're further interested in getting to know the product, or or you want to see, like I said, specific process, we'll be more than happy to show you. Before we finish the webinar, we're a Q&A section. I want to quickly leave you with the following. Regardless of what we see on the news or what we read online, the cloud is the future. Everything is drifting towards the cloud if it's not already there. And that is the reason why you as business owners or as notable members of your organization, you need to stay relevant. You should innovate. And finally, you should stay on top of your competition. And this is what Business by Design will bring to your organization. Let me just give you a quick example of this. And this is something that our customers can relate to. And why you should adopt the cloud model. Let's talk about Blockbuster. Blockbuster was a predominant player in their line of business for a very long time, even all the way to the mid-2000s. But what happened? What happened with Blockbuster? Well, Blockbuster was stubborn. They failed to innovate. They didn't want to change, and they didn't want to adapt to the digital economy we're in today. And then something happened. A new company called Netflix came into a 100% cloud service that is user-friendly, that is adaptable, scalable, an option where you don't have to worry about anything pretty much. I mean, just selecting what you want to see. And then Blockbuster was sent to a land of no return. So we want our customers to become the new Netflix. That is our goal, to make you the predominant or key player in your markets. So like I said, and just to reinforce the entire message, 4 new migrations to new versions every year, or at the end of every queue, without even noticing it. That comes within your monthly subscription with no additional charge. We have a very, very robust experience in our consultants. We've been very successful in different markets, in different types of businesses. We have as well very, very aggressive pricing. We want to show you that you will need to spend thousands, 100,000 of millions of dollars to get a very robust solution. And that's why we're bringing Business by Design today to show it to you. And of course, we have several success stories for our ByDesign implementations in Latin America and the US. And we hope that you can give us the opportunity to work with you. And at the end, and finally, and just to complement what Juan was mentioning, we give you a personalized treatment, one-on-one. You will be assured that the president of the company will be involved in the entire process. So that's our value proposition. I guess at this point, we can proceed to a Q&A, if you will. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions. I'm just going ahead and log it out of the system, and I'll bring it back to the presentation. Perfect. So let's just see if any questions come in.
I believe we have one question.
Let me see. What are some success stories for SAP Business by Design? That is a great question. Just to give you a few companies, Shell subsidiaries, the oil and gas company has worked with Business by Design. Of course, they work in headquarters with our biggest solution, in this case, SAP All-in-One, S/4HANA is called now. But all the subsidiaries are running under the SAP Business by Design platform as an alternative. What else? Maybe Johnson & Johnson, different divisions for Johnson & Johnson are also running with ByDesign. We also have sports teams such as the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers, to also run their entire operations with ByDesign.
Yeah, so
San Jose Sharks.
if you'd like, I could just add some color. Again, Brian Cano from SAP, but Cardinal
Go ahead,
Health.
Brian, sure.
Yeah, Cardinal Health. You have Stanley Black & Decker. You have large enterprise that are running their financial and supply chain backbone on ByDesign, like Sitel. And so really, again, across industry, we are able to run the largest corporations. We have several customers like the Dutch Post Office that moved off of ECC to ByDesign. So even though it is a SaaS solution, it really does have that kind of power.
And also I want to mention, if any of you, as me, loves frozen yogurt, I think Barry also runs with SAP Business ByDesign the entire operation. Let's see if we have something else. Where will my ERP information be stored? Great, that's a great question. So of course, being a cloud solution, SAP has invested heavily in world-class data centers all over the world. Speaking directly in the U.S., we have a data center in Santa Clara, California, and then we have another one in Philadelphia. But there, of course, we have data centers in Ireland, in Germany, China, India, Singapore. And there have been talks about data centers opening in Latin America. There's also one in Australia. So we can see that we cover pretty much geographically all locations. And these are, like I said, top of the class, global class data centers where security standards are just below the intelligence agencies or military agencies of the U.S. We're ranked just below that. You can see that your information will be safe and you will not be shared with anyone.
Specifically, HANA BW is where your data is stored, though, that in-memory data warehouse that George had mentioned earlier. The other thing I wanted to highlight real quickly is going back to let SAP manage your servers and those kind of things. That is what's going to give you almost 100% uptime. You guys will not have to worry about things like disaster recovery, data backup. It's all done by us. And your data is, if there was ever a breach in the SAP cloud, we'd be out of business. So I can't believe I just threw that out there. Back to you, George.
Thank you, Brian. Let's see, we have another question right here. I love your product. Thank you very much. What 3 points would you say are the most important for me to present to my boss? Okay. Number one, I will say it's very easy to implement. It's very easy to use, as you saw on the live demo. It is extremely affordable compared to traditional ERP solutions. And it's, of course, a new generation system and platform that will grow with you at your pace and at the time you need it to grow.
Yeah, George, you may want to add the fact that it's a SaaS on-demand deployment, which includes a monthly subscription, and it also uses best practices. I think that's a very solid point to mention to your boss, Anna. And obviously, the fact that you're going to need very limited infrastructure to run on it. I wouldn't want to say that you would not depend on your IT department anymore, but you would just need to have access to the internet that you do on a daily basis to access a fully comprehensive ERP solution totally based on cloud. I would use that point too. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Juan. Great point. We can move on to another question. It says, does ByDesign integrate with other non-SAP platforms? Yes, it does, of course. We have a saying concerning SAP, if you find value for it, don't waste it. Through web services, ByDesign natively out of the box through something called HANA Cloud Integrator, can connect and talk with other platforms. So definitely, ByDesign integrates natively with non-SAP products or platforms. Let's see, I have a small business that is just starting up. Is this system too big for me? Great question. ByDesign is very flexible. So we can start projects from 20 users all the way to what right now we have, I think we have our highest customer for ByDesign is 8,000 users. So you can make it as small or as big as you want. So definitely we can work with you with ByDesign and we can integrate the system to your business. And just to further expand on that, we can even implement, it's modular. So we can implement on different modules. Maybe you just want the back office to begin with. Maybe you want anything from production. Let's just work with the back office. And then later on, or with the CRM, and then later on, as your company grows, you just integrate the rest of the product. That's the advantage of a cloud service. Let's see if we have anything else.
One comment, George. The demo you guys seen, George was logged in as an administrator, so he had access to all cost centers that ByDesign has available. For a small company like yours, you may want to customize the cost centers to just exactly what you need. You may not have a production facility, so the window the screen that you'll see will most likely not shown the production cost center. You may just want to run your accounting system to begin with. Well, your screen will just show a couple of cost centers directly related to what you want to run at first, and then you can scale it up. You may end up having a production facility in a year or two. Well, those cost centers could be added later on down the road once you enlarge the scope of your system. Okay.
Okay, I have one more point, just because it is important that you do have unlimited amount of entities that you can have. So you can have as many sets of books as you'd like, intercompany transactions, multi-entity, multi-country, multi-language, and all on one public tenant. So the platform can extend out across the board. The other thing, back to the other question I wanted to bring up real quick, is there is only a license cost, right? So support is included. There's no hidden fees, no maintenance, and those types of things. And there are no restrictions on data. So we have customers that really take advantage of that, and they have crazy transaction volume, and they get away with it. So we will house as much data as you push. Back to you, George.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Juan. So as you can see, I don't know if we have any additional questions. I don't think we have anything else for now. As you can see, ByDesign is pretty much the future. That's the way we want to see it. Cloud service, affordable, like Brian said, no hidden fees, flexible, scalable. For those of you that are interested, and I'm going to talk maybe a little bit over my boss right here, Juan, please allow us to invite you to maybe lunch or whatever and tell us further about ByDesign. We'll be more than happy to get to know your company and how we can work together to make it operate better. Please follow us, if you will, on our social networks on Facebook. We have a link on the screen, on Instagram, on Twitter. Feel free to visit our website as well, where we have people information about our experience, about ByDesign, and the rest of our portfolio. And I don't know, Juan, if there's anything else, Brian, you guys want to add?
Well, there's a poll that we would love if you guys can take before you leave the session. A few easy to answer questions. It will be very helpful for us to have your opinion on a few things that we'd like to know. So if you can please fill it out. And also, as George has mentioned, feel free to reach out to us at any time. I would love to come to see you, visit you, and show you more in detail what the solution can do.
Brian?
No, I got nothing. I really thought it was a great presentation. Just the surface, the product is extremely deep, and we'd love for you to get under the cover, so to speak. So thank you for taking the time, and back to you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Juan. Thank you very much, everyone that attended. We understand that, like I said, schedules are tight, so we really appreciate you guys taking the time to be with us today. Like I said, feel free to contact us. We're more than happy to work with you. And thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. This does conclude today's webinar. We thank you for your participation. You may disconnect your lines at this time, and have a great day.